due to Bengaluru traffic, I got stuck. Then I realized how impactful Digi Yatra is. Because even if you reach late to the airport, there's still Digi Yatra to take care of you. So here I am to take you through a journey of Digi Yatra, how it is doing a transformational impact on the digital journey, or something which has taken a problem which was always there and solved it to enhance the passenger experience. Can I know how many of you here have used Digi Yatra? Can I have a raise of hands? This is the great part of my keynote always, right? So no matter where I go, I will find people who have used Digi Yatra though. So that's the impact of Digi Yatra, and that is how it has impacted lives and impacted lives of passengers, right? So I'll quickly take you through the presentation. So let's get started. Okay, we have vision and objectives, process flow, changing travel, the DICE or Digi Yatra central ecosystem architecture concept. Then we have privacy by design, very important topic, key metrics, and the future. So how are we creating delightful, memorable, contactless, and safe digital travel experiences? So this was the term coined by our CEO. A walk in the park experience in the airport using single token face biometrics, as you all know. It is seamless, contactless, hassle-free, secure, and health risk-free. Why health risk-free? Because when you present your document to the CISF officer, so there is an exchange of document, right? So because this is 100% touch-free, so basically you don't carry any health risk, right? No manual intervention, frictionless ID, travel and health document checks, enhancing throughputs, because obviously the size of the airports cannot increase. The number of passengers are increasing, so we need to optimize the resources and ensure that the throughput is good. Data-driven insights and decision-making. Yes, we don't store any data, but we can always understand the volume of passengers throughput, right? Okay, the process flow, I think, since most of you have already used Digi Yatra, so you know how it works, right? It's very simple. Although the underlying technology is very complex, but from the user perspective, from the user experience perspective, it's very simple. You download the app, enroll yourself using Aadhaar, compare your selfie, take your selfie, and your verifiable credentials are created. So this involves complex blockchain technology. It involves artificial intelligence in terms of facial recognition, and also a message exchanging technique which allows you to store the data and share the data with the airports. Next step is upload boarding pass. You just download your boarding pass, do a web check-in, and then you're good to go. You upload your boarding pass and share the data with the airport in advance prior to you arrive at the airport, so that the airport knows that today so-and-so passenger is going to be there. There are various touch points right from the airport entry gates. PESC is the pre-embarkation security check, the security holding area. ABC is something we are working on. It's coming soon. It's automated border control for international travel. Then we have boarding gate, obviously, wherein that is the last touch point. Okay, how it is changing the travel, right? So it's convenient, secure, faster, safer, and sustainable. How it is convenient? Because you can enroll from the comfort of your home. Having said that, we have also seen people while they're traveling to the airport, right? While they're in the cab, they can enroll from there as well, right? So it is so fast, and simple sharing of ID and travel, plus health credentials we had integrated with COVID, but currently it's not there because it's not needed right now. Arrive ready to fly, eliminate multiple manual checks, as that is the whole purpose of it. Secure, because there's no human error and there's no validation. Manual validation is not there. And then it is privacy preserving. I'll talk more about what exactly we mean by privacy preserving. Faster, because enhanced processing speed. Typically it takes 2 to 3 seconds for a passenger to be processed at every touch point. Reduced queuing times. Safer, as I mentioned, it is health risk-free process for all. Safer and happier passengers. If you reach a bit early, you can grab that extra cup of coffee, or you can read that book, and you can have true airport experience, because those 15-20 minutes matter, right? And you can relax and actually enjoy the airport. It is sustainable because a lesser airport footprint, lower per passenger cost. It's a sustainable innovation, future-proofing and resiliency. Okay, so this is the part which is most important and technologically relevant, right? So let's talk about it. What do we use? DICE, or the Digi Yatra Central Ecosystem, uses the following standards and protocols. We have W3C World Wide Web Consortium W3C standards, self-sovereign identity, which is futuristic technology, which we have already implemented 2 years ago. We have verifiable credentials, decentralized identifiers, trust layer on a distributed ledger. So this is the core blockchain network wherein we issue you a verifiable credential, which can be shared with the airports. Secure wallets and public-private key pairs. Just to make it more easier, right? What is a self-sovereign identity? Self-sovereign identity is a way of sharing your data in a decentralized manner. We don't store your personally identifiable information on the server. Only the hash keys are stored, and the data is shared with the airport, and it is purged after 24 hours of your travel. So technically, even Digi Yatra doesn't know who uses Digi Yatra, because we don't store your data. It's stored only in your own wallet, and you're in control, right? So only while sharing the boarding pass is when the data is shared, and it's deleted after the flight takes off 24 hours post-departure. So we are using Government of India ID database. In future, we'll be using electronic passports for international travel. So Digi Yatra Central Ecosystem here is the issuer, passenger is the owner, and airports, airlines, and regulatory agencies. For now, it's airports are the verifiers. And this is how the blockchain distributed ledger technology works. If anyone is interested to explore more, feel free to go to the Hyperledger Foundation. We are a member of a Hyperledger Foundation. So it's completely open source. You can explore. Well, this is more in-depth technical presentation. So issuer issues a VC, which is verifiable credential. The holder acquires or stores and presents the VCs, and verifier verifies the VC. So this is how the whole trust triangle is established, and you can actually issue once and use it as many times as you want, right? So who the data is shared with? It is shared with airlines, airports, and immigration authorities. That is only for international travel. What data is shared? Your PII data and your single token face biometrics, which is obviously pre-populated in the airport biometric boarding system database for it to recognize you in a 1-to-N mode. And when it is shared, it is defined time before the scheduled time of departure of the flight. These are some key metrics. So as of 9 September, we have 5.72 million downloads, Android and iOS, both almost having similar numbers here. So let's talk about the future. And before that, I would like to take a moment to explain how this whole technology works, right? So we have a lot of moving parts. So blockchain seems to be an easy concept. It isn't, right? So because there's a lot of back and forth happening, and there's a lot of internal communication happening between the blockchain network, which takes your data, it sends to the server, it compares, it basically takes your face selfie and compares it. Only when the comparison is successful, it sends all the data to the server, and a verifiable credential of a W3C standard is created. It also holds the hash key and the proof value. So this proof value is used to actually match and also to ensure that it's not tampered with. At the same time, we are not only tamper-proof because we go through certain audits and all standards laid out by the government. At the same time, it is tamper-evident. So verifiable credentials, if someone tries to tamper, it can be recorded that, okay, someone actually tried to tamper with the data. And because everything is stored in the wallet, if anyone tries to hack Digi Yatra, they have to hack all the 5 million mobile devices, which is impossible. So this is how whole decentralized identification and decentralized ID management has completely revolutionized and changed the way we store data, right? And because it is stored in your own wallet, sometimes people come to us and say, you know what, I deleted my app, I uninstalled my app, where is my data? There's no way to restore it because it is truly stored in your wallet. And also we don't even store the boarding pass information. Some people try to say, hey, you know what, I wanted to claim my travel expenses, but it's gone, so we are not storing it. So there's no way for us to retrieve it. In future, we may work wherein we can plan to give you the power to store your data wherever you want, and then you can restore it, right? This way you can actually, maintain it. However, it's all laid out as per our policies, and so we take that well-informed decision of how to take the next level of Digi Yatra. Let's talk about what are the cross-industry use cases we have. So we align with the IATA One ID for global interoperability to deliver seamless international process. So as we speak, our development team is working on making this happen for international travels, because as you know, today we are at 30 airports, more than 30 airports, and basically, so all the airports in India will have Digi Yatra soon. And also, the next step is international travel, right? So you can always use your international travel boarding pass to go through the same touch points as domestic, and then proceed to immigration. So this requires a lot of technological scalability, integration of passport, because we don't have e-chip passports, so we need to have the MRZ data read, face comparison. So there are a lot of underlying technology and a lot of thought process which is going into it. How do we make it work? And at the same time, once it comes, I can assure you that it will be very easy for the users, or from the user experience standpoint, to get yourself enrolled and have your passport-based verifiable credential which can be used. In future, imagine you land in the UAE or any other country, using this same token, you'll be able to go through their touch points and vice versa. So that is how the whole international ecosystem works. So seamless ID validation services using Digi Yatra identity credential. It is simple, safe, and secure. So basically, you can scan the QR and match live face with reference face. So this is the next cutting-edge thing which we are working on to have another level of truly decentralized solution. So, and we can also have encrypted time-based dynamic QR. So all these are future programs which we are currently working on, and you should be able to see it soon. And also, we are very excited to announce that very soon we will be having a AI-based chatbot, multilingual AI-based chatbot, which will help passengers and users to get help on the app level itself, which allows you to, get answers for anything you want, right? So how do I enroll a dependent? So we already have a lot of videos released, which are informative videos, which can be seen and which can be, made use of, wherein you can understand how to add a dependent, how to add a boarding pass. All the steps are self-explanatory. We try our best to give more information so that it becomes easier from the user perspective. Okay, so voice, video, text support in your own language. So this is what we have in plan, and already the work has commenced on it. We want to be the travel stack of India, ID verification for travel, transportation, tourism, and hospitality, etc. So when I talk about travel, it also involves cabs and hotels. It's not going to happen immediately, but sometime in near future. So imagine now you're going to the hotel and you present your Aadhaar or your whatever ID, credential ID, right? So which is unmasked, unencrypted, and someone scans it, right? So why can't we use our verifiable credentials there? When you go to that touch point, you just authenticate with your face, and then you can check in into the hotel. You can check in even in events like Cypher, right? So you don't need your traditional QR. You can always have a face-based authentication just to ensure that the right visitor or the right speaker enters the venue. I'm just giving an example. There may be n number of such use cases. And artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, these are all technologies which India is operating at scale, which other countries are still at prototype stage. So we are also very proud to say that we are the largest volume of decentralized identity issuers across the world. So that's what we do, and that's how big the volume is, right? So, and it works seamlessly. There's hardly any downtime, and we have made the solution scalable to an extent that you hardly see any issues. But at the same time, we have our help desk and support to help you to address any issues you may have. Yes, to be the travel stack of India. Okay, I'll take you through some future plans. So passport-based enrollment for Indian citizens. So we are having ongoing discussions with MEA and for integration through Digi Locker to fetch the passport data. Then we have enrollment for Indian citizens. Also, driver license verified credential from Digi Locker, right? So now, apart from using the Aadhaar, in the next version, in few days or few weeks, you will be able to use your driver license to enroll yourself. And why is this required, right? So we have observed a lot of name mismatch with Aadhaar. Like there's a name mismatch between your Aadhaar and your boarding pass, right? So to tackle that issue and also to give a more options in terms of enrollment, we have decided to go ahead with this implementation as well. So that's why it is very important to have a multi-identity, multi-identity methods of enrollment. E-passport based enrollment, yes, of course. So as soon as in India e-passports are issued, we should be able to read the NFC chip, extract the data, and to be able to issue a verifiable credential, which is similar to Aadhaar, but the underlying ID is your passport. Airline OTA app, direct sharing. So we had a lot of suggestions and feedback that why can't we see the gate number on our app, right? Why can't I see my scheduled time of departure, right? So we are also going to be integrating those APIs directly into your Digi Yatra app so that you should be able to directly see receive the real-time information about your flight and all other allied information. And also we are working with some apps which allow you to share your data from the booking app. It can directly open app to app. You do an app to app integration. So let's say from Make My Trip or whatever, your Digi Yatra app opens and you are able to share your data, right? Right from booking to sharing of the data. Of course, I spoke about multilingual app, AI chatbot, wherein we have text, voice, and video support for app users, query response, and bot-guided enrollment. I'll take a moment here to mention that Digi Yatra takes feedback very seriously, right? So I will mention an example. So while we innovate, but there are still chances that we may miss something. So one fine gentleman suggested, hey, why can't I go to the PDF in the file section when we download and use a native sharing to share that? And we heard you and we implemented it. So the new feature, I don't know how many of you have experienced it. When you click on the PDF, which is downloaded under your downloads, so you'll be directly taken to Digi Yatra app. You can actually share it without even opening Digi Yatra app, right? So like, for example, I want to share a PDF via WhatsApp, right? How it natively allows you to share. Likewise, when you see the PDF now, if you click on it, it takes you to Digi Yatra app, wherein your data is directly shared, provided your credential is already there. If it is not there, then it will ask you to do the enrollment, which is obviously the first step. Okay, these are some of the use cases we are working on, but it doesn't end there, right? You have multiple use cases wherein you can use verifiable credentials, because now the way verifiable credentials is growing, so there is a lot of international bodies coming to make sure that the interoperability happens, right? Because right now the standards are, okay, so we are using W3C standards, we are using Hyperledger, so there are multiple other blockchains. So the whole interoperability needs to exist, right? So let us say, issue once and use wherever you want, right? Of course, there has to be a trust registry, issuer trust registry. So if you become a part of a issuer trust registry, it's like, okay, people recognize Digi Yatra and they also recognize other issuers, and then they can coexist in the ecosystem wherein it is trust registry based, a platform wherein you can issue from Digi Yatra and it can be used somewhere else. But of course, we'll have to tread carefully because your data is very important, and it has to be shared only with the authorized parties. At the same time, we also take consent very seriously. You will not see any other app taking the consent to the level we are taking, right? So if you, I'm sure not many of the users go through the entire consent, but if you read it, it's very carefully drafted so that it gives you a clear picture of what the data is shared, because for us, it's very important to let you know and take your consent before your data is shared. And we are also working in future to ensure that we control the data deletion. Although the airports are audited, although we regularly carry certain audits to ensure the data is purged. So that as a next step of innovation, we are going to control the data deletion, and you should be able to see a notification on your mobile that yes, your data was shared with so-and-so airport and it's now deleted. So that will really give you a 360 and bi-directional control of your data. And also in future, we are going to have a sharing revocation, right? So if you share it with an entity, you can always revoke. That power also we will be giving to you, right? So there's a lot of innovation going on, and there are there's a lot of places where we intend to use this technology, harness the power of this technology to bring it. Okay, I would like to greet and say thank you. And at the same time, many of you may see that I'm a former head of product innovation at Digi Yatra Foundation, because while I enrolled and signed up for Cypher, I was head of product innovation, but now I'm the technology advisor to the CEO of Digi Yatra because I have my own startup around biometrics, so it's called Biometric Systems. So I wanted to bring this power to the world, from India to the world. So I decided to step into the shoes of founder and the CEO, but I continue to be the technology advisor, hence you see that word former, because it has changed over the last month or so. So I think now I can take some questions.